Good morning and welcome to Cover 2 Cook. We're on episode 201 as we got a little NFL news to talk about. Mr. Tim Cook is happy about the Denver Broncos. And then we are starting the March Madness. Tonight is the first play-in game. Tomorrow, while you're watching this one, will be the second night. And Thursday, Friday, Saturday, Sunday, we got games all day for those. So we're going to talk about that and who we got winning it. And then we have to finish with the World Baseball Classic as we're recording on Tuesday. That's the finale. We'll tell you why the U.S. won and why the U.S. lost. I honestly haven't watched much of it, so you'll have to see what we think about who and why they win. So we got a lot to talk about. Let's get it started.
Yeah. I was going to do a vertical jump there. Thank you, Sox.
Travel been to Indiana, and did Cover 2 Cook get you a good hotel?
Indiana? No, I'm in Louisiana. I'm here for Mardi Gras.
I know that this might be hard, but I don't know how much you remember Friday night since we left you damn near when you fell asleep.
I got my belly full, man. I was like, warm covers and warm. I was like, I could go to sleep right now.
Yeah, I'm going to go with Jack Dorsey.
Final answer?
Yes.
All
Right.
This is going to be a long fucking day.
Welcome back to Cover 2 Cook. We're on episode 201. I'm here with Anthony and Tim, and we have a lot to talk about. But first things first, we have some NFL news that, Tim, I'm excited to hear your reaction about. The Dolphins traded Jalen Waddle to the Broncos. That's a big pickup.
Yeah.
How do you feel about that?
I love it. Hey, what was it? What day was it? A couple weeks ago when I made that it said that Baltimore would make the Super Bowl. I'm making another proclamation today, March 17th, St. Patrick's Day. The Broncos are going to the Super Bowl and winning the Super Bowl now with Jalen Waddle. I'm getting my Super Bowl tickets, Anthony. You can come along for the ride if you like. It would be an experience that you'll never experience ever before. I think they're in the Super Bowl with this guy. This is a number 2 receiver. They've already got their number 1 in Cortland Sutton. I think this is a great pickup. Their 30th pick wasn't going to be anything more than likely. Now he's got another receiver to give him to. I think this is a great pickup. They haven't done much in the offseason the way it is anyway. In fact, right now I would have given them a D or an F as far as picking up anybody because they haven't done anything. They've lost a couple people. I think this is a great pickup. Super Bowl bound, baby. We're one quarterback away from the Super Bowl last year.
Yeah.
If he doesn't get hurt, I think they make the Super Bowl. Whether they win it or not, that's a different ball game. But I think they're one great player, and I think he can extend the offense. Now Knicks has got another receiver they can throw the ball to and Waddle.
I'll say this.
I love it.
I think every Tuesday we're just going to have a segment called Tim Picks a New Super Bowl Winner. Because it literally was last Tuesday when he's like, you hear it right now. Clip it. March 10th, the Baltimore Ravens are going. And watch, we'll get off this podcast and Jalen Waddle failed the physical. He's not going. No, I do think this is a great addition for them. You did say this, though, last week. You said they need another wide receiver. They need another threat with this offense. That is this guy. I thought he would be the number 1 in the Dolphins rebuild. It's obvious the Dolphins are saying, we are fully rebuilding. We don't want anything here while we try to do this. And you traded nothing for it. I mean, literally nothing. Right. Yes, a first round. If you're in the top 10, top 15, that's worth something. But 30th, I mean, who knows? But you can get that talent today with a Bo Nix. Like you said, you're one quarterback away from the Super Bowl. I still think if that doesn't snow in the second half, you still go to the Super Bowl. I don't think you win the Super Bowl.
Oh, no.
I think you go to the Super Bowl. And I will say, what they need to do now is reassure that defense. Yeah. Because you lived and died by that defense last year and said, that is going to be our foundation. Now you went and got offensive pieces. Make sure that defense is still the foundation that it is. So, but yeah, I mean, this is a hell of a trade for Denver. A little jealous over in Minnesota as we're growing and getting Kyler Murray, the 2'7" quarterback, but okay.
The taller. But here's another. Let's look at the Dolphins side of this. What's Malik Willis probably thinking right now? You're trading the best wide receiver away. Or what you better pull a rabbit out of the hat and get somebody out of the draft. which I seen Mel Kiper today on SportsCenter who they were thinking about picking, and I'm like, still, who's he throwing to? Who's he throwing the ball to? He's got nobody right now.
Yeah.
I mean, he had Jalen Waddle, but I mean, unless they go out and get somebody off the scrap heap, you know. Other than that, I mean, and I agree, they're in total rebuild. The Miami is. I mean, they're just going down to the studs of this house.
Well,
I mean,
it doesn't make sense because how much money did you give to Willis for
Yeah,
this?
$30
to
million.
be- you're not rebuilding if you're paying a quarterback. That's 100% what it is. Rebuilds are when you got a rookie quarterback. So I would have been surprised if they said, we're not even going to go after Malik. Quinn Ewers is going to run our team. That's how rebuilding we're going to be.
Right.
Yeah, this was so surprising. I did kind of wish I would have joined watched Pat McAfee today to see what the Canadian that he has on his, because he's a big Dolphins fan. I would have loved to hear what, because he's pissed about everything else. You don't have Tyreek now. You don't have Jalen Waddle. You don't have Tua. Your team is unrecognizable from last year.
Wow, yeah, so big changes happening across the board. The Dolphins have a big question mark over what it's going to look like for them. Yeah. But also another trade happened. The Chiefs traded for Justin Fields to join their team as the backup, the primary, while Patrick heals up for the season. Were you guys surprised to see that for Justin? Do you think this is going to be a good fit for him?
I think this is a great fit for him. And here's why. I think he's needed to go to somewhere where someone wants to teach him how to be an NFL quarterback. And that's there. Because, yes, you're going to get playing time at the start because Patrick Mahomes ain't going to be ready for season start, right? So even if it's 4, 5, 6, 7 games, but then you go behind Patrick Mahomes and you're seeing the professional, the best of the best quarterback in the NFL. And that's what he needs. Who knows? This might be a passing of the torch eventually with Patrick Mahomes because people have talked about how long are we getting here. I don't know, but I think this is a good fit for the Chiefs. Good fit for Justin Fields on going there. And they gave up nothing. I think it was another draft pick and something like that. You need to have someone playing quarterback because you got to be relevant by the time Patrick Mahomes comes back. Justin Fields might be there. Remember, when he was in Pittsburgh, he was 4-0 before they replaced him with Russell Wilson.
Okay, what do you think about that, Tim?
I think this is a great fit in Kansas City. I think the only other fit he could have probably been that he would succeed in may have been the Rams with McVay. But, I mean, I think this is a great fit. You know, what they also could do is they could use him like, and I know he probably don't want to do this, they could use him like the kid down in New Orleans.
Taysom Hill.
Yes, where he could throw the ball and maybe catch the ball out of the backfield or run the ball. They could do some swings with him. They could do a lot of things with him. I think this is just a stopover for him. I think this is just to get his exposure back out there, kind of like a Baker Mayfield. Let's get his feet. Let's get him under a great system. Let's get him some exposure so that maybe down the road he can go somewhere else and really flourish like Baker did. So I think this is a great fit.
Yeah, and you got to think too. I mean, he's going to get some games in him.
Yes.
So if he does play well in the beginning of the year, it doesn't matter what the record is. They're going back to Patrick Mahomes. But if he wins or has a winning season before Patrick Mahomes comes back, he is going to get traded or draft or sign with someone the following year, because now that's the hot commodity of quarterbacks. I mean, that's Daniel Jones, that's Sam Darnold, that's who we're talking about when we're talking about these big money contracts.
Well, for another team that I feel that's like stacking up their roster is the 49ers. They just signed Christian Kirk, like another huge person to add on their roster. Now, I'm curious what you guys think. What does this mean for Brandon Ayuk? Did I say that right? Ayuk?
Yep.
Yes, yeah. I think he's done, and I don't think he was coming back anyway.
Well, they haven't done anything with him.
You're right, but I think they sent him to go away. Didn't they send him away, or did they weren't going to extend his contract, or did they void his contract, I thought, or something? The other couple more years on his extension? So they pretty much told him go away. I mean, they said, we're good. And I think that's another thing, too. You've got – them guys get hurt all the time. It doesn't hurt to have another wide receiver that Purdy can throw to. So, I mean, you know, you've got Kittle that gets hurt half the time. Is there Jennings that, you know, there's another guy. Yes. He gets hurt all the time. You know, it's just like, it seems like they get hurt all the time. And I think you can never have enough wide receivers, in my opinion. You can never have enough wide receivers because especially the way Kyle Shanahan's offense is, he likes throwing the ball. He likes mix it up with run it and throw it. Even McCaffrey out of the backfield. You can't have McCaffrey catching the ball out of the backfield, 60, 70 times a year, neither too. You got to get him, and he can also extend it. Now he's coming off injury too, Kirk is. So, I mean, he was kind of a dud in Jacksonville. So this could be another project. Justin Fields, Christian Kirk. Christian Kirk was really good in Arizona as well. So, I mean, and you see who he was getting the ball thrown to. So, I mean, maybe this is another way to get healthy, get his name out there that maybe down the road he can go somewhere else.
Well, the players are getting hurt because of the electric field next to him. Let's be honest, okay? I know we don't want to get into conspiracy theories, but that's exactly what it is.
Oh, boy.
No, I think, Brandon Ayuk, if you want to meet a bunch of owls, you just go into their GM. Because they're going, who?
Yeah.
That's who? That's all they're going to say is who. Because they don't care about Brandon Ayuk anymore. Brandon Ayuk tarnished his whole name when they did the 2 years ago. Then this year with all the drama and stuff like that. So, yeah, he's gone. It's just he's still on the roster. So, right now he's still there. But think about it, too. They got Mike Evans. So, we don't forget that they already picked up a big name. This is another good name to have with it. I will say, if there is a place to get a rejuvenance in your career, I think 49ers is a pretty solid place.
Yeah, so I'm excited to see what that looks like for them. I'm not marking March 17th or nothing. I'm just saying they'll be exciting to watch.
I wouldn't. With the electro field next to him, you don't even know who's playing game one.
All right, well, that wraps up for NFL talk. Let's talk about college basketball. We are in March Madness here. Before we go and talk about our brackets, let's talk about the recap of the conference championship week that we had. We had Arizona beating Houston for the Big 12. We had St. John's beating up UConn for the Big East. We had Duke beating up Virginia for the ACC. Arkansas would beat Vanderbilt for the SEC. Purdue would beat Michigan for the Big 10. Like, some of these are big names. Some of them we predicted, but some of them we did not. So I'm curious, Anthony, which one surprised you the most?
Yeah, I think the SEC was a kind of a crapshoot with obviously Florida going out. But I think the biggest surprising is Purdue beating Michigan in the Big 10. Like, Purdue was one of those teams where the coach had to give an announcement after the game of, guys, settle down, fans, we're going to do something. And people were like, I don't think so. This team had all this potential. They're not playing good defense. Handling Michigan the way they did in that Big 10 championship now kind of makes me a little questionable about Michigan. And then am I back on Purdue because obviously bracket people now? But yes, it was a good weekend. I will tell you right now, the best game was the Big East. I know it might not have been the closest game, but the way those conferences allow them to play in those games, it was big men going at each other, play after play after play. That was a great game for the Big East.
Definitely. What about you, Tim? Which one surprised you?
I think St. John's just rolling UConn. I mean, they beat them by over 20. I mean, it was close, but in the second half, they just took it right to UConn, and I was shocked on that one. You did say the SEC, Florida getting beat, but yeah, Purdue is another dark. They went right through that Big Ten Conference Championship and tournament, and they beat the hell out of Michigan, which has not been beat like that since Duke played them, and they got rewarded with a 2 seed. I think that we're going to talk a little bit about that. I'll give a recap. Purdue getting the 2 seed, and St. John's only getting a 5 seed.
Yeah.
Ooh. Yep. I was shocked on that. I think they should have got maybe a 4 or a 3 because they were playing. They're playing probably one of the better balls that anybody around the country is doing right now.
For sure.
Yeah. Well, speaking of the seeds here, let me run over the Selection Sunday number 1 seeds and number 2 seeds so that everyone's aware if they're not already. But for the number 1 seeds, we have Duke in the East. We have Florida in the South. We have Arizona in the West. And we have Michigan in the Midwest. Who do you guys think has the toughest route with this?
Yeah, I think Michigan does. I think Michigan has the toughest route because you got Iowa State in there that's playing good basketball. You have Virginia that just looks really good in the ACC. The second team that I would say has the hardest is Duke because having St. John's, UConn, in there. Michigan State is nothing to sneeze at. There's some good teams that could be in there. And also keep an eye out for that South Florida team. That South Florida team isn't a nothing to sneeze at either. So, but yeah, I don't understand that because Michigan was probably what did they say the 4th seed?
I think
3.
I think 3.
But why does it seem like every year the number 1 actual seed has the hardest route? They should have the easiest route. Yeah.
Yep.
So Duke being number 1 going into the March Madness and then having the hardest doesn't make sense. And this is where you said the St. John's 5 is where it screwed Duke the hardest.
Yeah, for sure. Tim, who do you think has the toughest route?
I totally agree. It's Duke. You've got, like you said, you've got UConn. There's a national champion winner and Danny Hurley. You've got 3, which is hang on. Michigan State. Tom Izzo has won a national championship. 4 is Kansas. Bill Self. 5 is St. John's. Bettino championship. That has got to be the hardest bracket. You would think they would have the easiest road to the Final Four. I think they've got the hardest. I think they really do. I think Arizona is got it. I think Arizona. They got Purdue as a number 2. I think Arizona's got a pretty easy one. Florida's got a tough one. You got Illinois in there. You got Houston. I think Duke is the hardest, and maybe the easiest might be. I'd say maybe Arizona. Arizona doesn't look like they've got Purdue, BYU. Their bracket doesn't look that hard.
I think Arizona's hardest games are the first couple.
Yes, I agree.
I think if they get past that, they're making it. But yeah, like Wisconsin's nothing to be scared of, or Wisconsin is someone to be scared of. And Arkansas, the way they just played in that SEC tournament.
That's why I say that could be a Sweet 16 matchup of Arizona and Arkansas. Watch out for Arkansas. They play tough in the SEC tournament, and that ACUF is legit. He may have passed up that Peterson kid from Kansas to be the number 1 pick.
Yeah.
Let's see how his tournament goes.
Yeah, we'll
if
see.
He has a great tournament, he may pass him up as the number 1 pick.
Yeah, basketball is always tough because they go so much on dimensions of body and stuff like that it's just hard because they play a different type of basketball in college than they do in the NBA. So.
All right, well, let's move over to our number 2 seeds and see who has the toughest route here. We have UConn in the East, Houston in the South, Purdue in the West, and Iowa State in the Midwest. Tim, who do you think has the toughest route here?
I'm going to go with Iowa State. If you win that one, you may possibly play Kentucky. If you win that one, possibly Virginia that just took Duke to, and then you've got Michigan. So I think Iowa State might have the toughest one. The easiest one, the bad deal, and these conference tournaments kind of just don't really know what you got. UConn, if they win, they could possibly play UCLA, and then they got Michigan State and Duke. Maybe it is UConn. Maybe UConn is got the toughest. That whole East region is
Stacked.
It is. It's stacked. There's a lot of great teams in that East region. So maybe you know what? I'm going to change it to UConn. I don't think it's Iowa State. It's UConn. As I look at the and they play UCLA, then they play UCF, and I think UCF is going to beat UCLA. But then you've got Michigan State possibly, Duke. That's tough.
Yeah.
Okay, Anthony, what are your thoughts?
Yeah, I still go back to Iowa State on this one. I think just the way Kentucky, Virginia, and those teams. And remember, this could change literally Thursday. This could change Friday because some of these teams that we're talking about played good in the conference. I think the easiest one's Purdue. I think Purdue's got the easiest second round or second spot because you're possibly playing Miami, BYU possibly, or maybe a Gonzaga in there. But then I don't feel like if they play the way they did in the Big Ten, they could compete with Arizona and stuff like that. But if they don't, they could easily get beat the first or second round like nothing because we've seen it throughout them. So I think they have the easiest route. Will they take advantage of it? That's the question.
All right. Well, now here's the best question, or at least my favorite question is, let's talk about our first round upsets. Now, I'm going to start from the bottom here and work our way up because I'm curious to see where you guys start with your upsets. Do you have any 16th seed upsets?
No.
15.
No. I don't know the numbers. Oh, Christ.
No.
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 Okay. 14?
I don't think so.
That's 14 versus your 3 seed.
No.
Any 13
Oh,
versus your
The 13, okay, I'm sorry. The
Yeah,
13, I
13.
got Troy beating Nebraska. Nebraska does not get their first tournament victory. I can see Troy beating them.
Ooh, that is a big upset. Anthony, do you have a 13 verse 6?
No.
I'm sorry, 13 verse 4. How about a 12 versus 5? I have 2.
Who do you got?
I have McNeese beating Vanderbilt,
Yeah, I can see that.
and I have Akron beating Texas Tech.
You just say Akron?
Akron.
Akron? Jeez, what is this, Akon? Jesus.
It's Akron.
Yes. Aaron? What
that's
was
how you know.
that?
Wait,
That's how you know
hey,
I'm
we've been watching
coming
that commercial again with what's that one? Michael P. or Michael K.
Michael Key.
Yeah, Michael Key.
That's how you know I'm coming in as a complete wild card.
Oh, that is hilarious.
I just have fun with it.
Nice.
You guys
Oh.
know this from last year. I go off of colors. I go off of feelings.
Oh.
I go off of who's cute on the team. You know my strategy.
I know. That was crazy though.
Oh God.
Oh man. Okay. Well, what about any 11 seeds and 6 seeds? Is that what it is?
Yeah.
Yeah, I have SMU or Miami, Ohio beating Tennessee. I think they
I
beat
can see
them.
that. Yep.
And then I'm trying to see. I have South Florida beating Louisville.
Mm-hmm.
I think they beat Louisville right off the bat. I think South Florida is really underestimated in this tournament.
Overrated.
Or Louisville's overrated, but
Yes.
South Florida is underrated.
Yes.
Okay. Tim, what about you? Anybody in here?
No, not really.
I have 2 in here as well. I have VCU beating North Carolina, and I have the play-in game NC State versus Texas beating BYU.
Ooh, nah. Come on
I
now.
don't know.
Nah.
The bad deal is that if Devonta has a bad game, yeah, I can see that.
Yeah.
And he's never played in a tournament game yet, so.
There's a lot of freshmen that haven't done.
Oh yeah.
Well, then we go to the 10-7 seed, which is, not that big of an upset from here. So anybody in the 10-7s that you're...
Yeah, probably. That's not really.
Yeah, I agree. All right, cool. Well, it sounds like we got some big upsets to watch. Tim, we're definitely the biggest, so good luck there.
Yeah. Which bracket is that one?
What's that?
Which bracket is the one?
Excuse me,
Yeah. Okay.
I can't hear you very well. Huh? What?
Yeah.
What?
Well, as we record on Tuesday, the play-in games start tonight, and there's more play-in games tomorrow on Wednesday night. These are the appetizer to the main event on games all day Thursday, all day Friday. So gear up and let's get it started. Let's talk real quick now. We talked about the upsets. How does our Final Four look? Who's our Final Four? And then we'll go to our winners. Tim, who's in your Final Four?
East Duke, South Houston, West Arkansas, Midwest Michigan. The winner, the Duke Blue Devils.
Okay, Anthony, what about you?
Yeah, for the East, I got UConn. For the South, I have Florida. I think they bounce back. Midwest, I have Iowa State. And then in the West, I have Arizona.
Wow.
Winner, Iowa State.
Wow. I'm going to tell you right now, buddy, your bracket, if that comes in, your dad will win a lot of money because I have in the 68 pool.
Yeah, I think the Big 12 was, like we talked about in football, and I know it's totally different. Big 12 was not like as good as what everyone thought they were. I think the Big 12 was a lot better.
I think it was the best conference in basketball this year.
Yes.
Hands down.
Yeah.
Interesting. Okay, well, my Final Four in the East is Duke. The South is Houston. The West is Wisconsin. And the Midwest is Michigan. And I have one in it, of course, my Duke Blue Devils.
Ooh, yeah.
Doesn't change.
I think, did you have Duke last year win it all?
Always, every year.
Every year.
Usually they're in the West, though. So seeing them in the East, and you guys talking about how tough that side is, you made me a little nervous, but I got no doubt.
I have them losing in the Sweet 16.
You're crazy.
I have them
Well, you
losing
getting beat by Duke or who
St.
you getting beat
John's.
by?
St. John's?
Okay.
I think they get beat by St. John's, and then you get a Big East in the East. St. John's versus UConn for Elite Eight.
Ooh,
That would be awesome.
That would be awesome. That would be awesome.
Wow.
In Washington D.C.
Yeah,
I
like
think that's at.
Well, and just a little side note, because Anthony's got a note to say with this. This is a very popular time with a very number of brackets people can fill out. The number is endless, but what is the appropriate amount of brackets you can fill out? Now, personally, mine is one bracket.
So my number is 2. And I think the maximum number you should be able to have is 2. Now, if you're doing the ESPN one where you can fill out as many and it's for like $1 million, then fill out as many as your heart wants to desire. But if you're just having fun with this, 2 is the maximum. 1 is where I did today. You handed it to me. Within 10 minutes, I had it done. Boom. I'm writing down this is guts. Boom. Next one. Now, the second one I fill out tonight will be a little bit more calm, right? I'm going to be like, okay, what about this? Duke and St. John. Maybe Duke beats them, right? We get a little bit more calm about it, kind of take our time. But that's it. When you run your own little parlay kind of thing going on at your workplace, you don't get 5 damn brackets and think it's okay. Now, I say 2, but we always have fun and do a half bracket thing. That doesn't count. Because that's like you're putting trust in another person to do it. But when you do 5 brackets, like what differences are you really getting?
Right.
It's like being in 5 different fantasy leagues. You're rooting against yourself, but rooting for yourself at the same damn time. Like, have a little fun with it, but also there is a maximum number here.
Okay, Tim. Well, what is your number?
Well, my number usually every year is 4.
Yeah. Jesus, that's so many.
Throw a $20 bill, throw an Andrew Jackson on that baby, and you fill out 4 brackets. Here you go. Here's 1, 2, 3, 4. If you mix it around, I agree with you. I think 2 is. But hey, I just do it because I do it. I like doing it. I like filling it out. It more times than not, it usually comes out to the first bracket that I fill out is the one that usually gets me in the money. But yeah, I like to do it and just have fun.
Yeah, well, when you're the king, you get to make the rules however you want. So it's like
when you run it, yeah.
Well, and Tim, let me ask you this: do you have one that is like all number 1 seeds and one that's all upsets, or is it just fluctuating every single time?
It's fluctuating. You start looking at it a bit more, and you look at the last bracket that you just filled out and go, I don't know. Maybe you should go this way with it instead of that way with it. They're pretty close, and really your winners are usually, and what you've seen how we do it, where you score so many points for a first round victory, so many points for a second round, blah, blah, blah. It does really come down to the first weekend. Really, I mean, if you can get out of the 32 games, 26, 27 wins, you're on your way to a very good, but all you need is that one team to go farther than somebody else's team, and you get more points and you can win it. Because remember that one year we had one guy, he had 28 of the 32, and I think he got 4th.
Yeah.
Because somebody else snuck in with a team that went all the way, and he didn't have that team.
Yeah, and I think last year, like I had one of the teams that like won it or something like that, and it got me that final step. Like, but yeah, it is. I give people shit because it is. You just can't. It only happens once a year, right?
Yes.
March Madness only happens. But at the same time, you're eventually like fantasy football is a little different because each week you got to dedicate yourself to it. That's a lot of time. But like when you do 4 or 5 brackets, at what point do you even know who you had winning? I like Lisa's thing where you're like, I'm going to bet on my gut and then I'm going to bet the upsets. Because I do think this year might be a solid way to do that because I think there's going to be some upsets.
I do too. I don't think, and I'm going to throw this out there as well. I don't think you're going to see what you've seen last year.
No.
4 number 1s. I do not see that. That is a one-off. Yeah. You will not see that this year.
Well, that sucks because I only have 1s and 2s in my Final Four. So
well, that's all you need is 1s and 2s. I have Arkansas, which is I think a 3 or 4.
Lisa's got a 5. That would get you a lot. That would help you a lot.
Exactly.
All right. Well, I guess I'm curious because you teased us. Who's doing the East and South, and who's doing the West and Midwest between you two?
I don't care. It don't matter to me.
Yeah, we don't tell people that stuff, all right? So back it down, okay? We
Yeah,
don't do this
yeah.
to give out our secrets because
Well,
that's
no,
usually one that
of
does
course.
well
Yeah.
for us.
Yeah.
But,
Of course, I've got one guy that says that it helps for the Cook Foundation. So
yeah.
yeah, like I make $1 off it. I don't.
All right. Well, that wraps up our combos for the March Madness brackets. Stay tuned to see who's doing well and who's not doing well. Usually I'm not doing well, so check in on me next
Yeah.
week.
Yeah.
Let's talk about the World Baseball Classic. Tonight we have USA taking on the Venezuela in the championship game. So, of course, we're recording now. So tomorrow we'll have our results. So in order for us to figure out, the right way to talk about this, we're going to talk about both sides. Let's say the U.S. wins. Why did they win? Let's say the U.S. loses. Why did they lose? So, Anthony, if the U.S. were to win, why would they win?
Because of the USA of America, okay? USA, okay? And that's what it is. That's why they won. They have the best players in the world. Nobody on this podcast had any doubt on USA. Wasn't us sitting here freaking out about possibly losing to Canada or anything like that. This is why they won. No, if they win, it's because they had good pitching, 100%. You're going against another great lineup with Venezuela. You just got off of the DR playing them with their great lineup. You're going to have good pitching. That's how you win. And just big clutch hits. That's what they got them over into this final game. That's what they're going to need tonight if they're going to be the winner.
Okay. Well, I'm just patriotic, and they would win because they're the US of A. That's all I got. I haven't watched a single inning of this.
Yeah, you have. It's been on the TV. Whether you've watched it or not, it's been on the TV.
Well, I haven't watched it. Well, yeah. Tim, why do you think the U.S. win?
I think it comes down to they've got to hit. They've got to get their bats going. I mean, they only scored 2 runs the last game against Dominican Republic. They have got to get that going, and I think they do with Judge, Bregman. I think they all get going. But Bryce Harper. But they're going to have to, because I'm telling you right now, that crowd is probably going to be more Venezuela than it is going to be USA, because of where they're playing at. They're playing down in Miami. So they better get out ahead early, because if you let that crowd get in, they said that these crowds, it's like nothing they've ever. Oh, it was Aaron Judge said this. He says, I've been in World Series games. He said, these crowds are nothing like World Series games, which did not say it set very well for Yankee fans that when he plays for the Yankees and they played in the World Series and they didn't, But he says, I've never heard anything like anything else. Kind of like a World Cup kind of feel. Yeah. Because there's so much passion in each country. So I think they got to get out ahead. They got to get out ahead. And I think they do. But it's going to be tough, because that crowd is going to be a lot of Venezuelans there.
Well, let me flip the question. Do you think the reason why they would lose is because the winning aspects didn't follow through? What do you think? If U.S. were to lose, what did Venezuela do to beat us?
They didn't get the key hits when they needed to. Aaron Judge doesn't get the key hits. Some of their players don't get the key hits, and their pitching falters. Yeah. I have a feeling that maybe that Miller kid is the closer. He's been lights out in these last 2 games. He's available tonight. Maybe he gives up a couple hits at the wrong time.
Mm-hmm. Anthony?
Yeah, I think it's their bats. That's why they lose. If they can't get it going, they have too many home run hitters. But sometimes you got to play small ball just to win a game. And I feel like that's what they need today for them. If they're going to lose, it's because they didn't want to play small ball. They just want to hit home runs. And it's one game. Throw everyone out there. Do whatever you need to do to win this game. But I will say this. Juan Soto made a comment after losing to the U.S. saying that we showed who the better team was. And you know what? I always thought that I loved seeing the opposing team cry. But I think I like more when the opposing team that loses to the U.S. says we're the better team. When there's literally stats that tell you who the better team was. Juan Soto, take one from what's his name in Canada, because we don't remember his name anymore. Like, literally, you can't say that if you lose. If Aaron Judge and them lose tonight and they go, well, we were the better team. No, you're not. Yeah. There's literally a game that can make you say you're the better or the worse. So I will say, though, Japan getting out early is a great thing for U.S., but I will see how they play tonight against Venezuela team that has just a lot of moxie. So did DR, though, and U.S. took them down, so we'll see.
I do feel like I have a quick question because I'm like kind of shocked to see this out of baseball because when you see the World Series, it's best out of, right?
Yeah.
I'm kind of surprised that this is like one and done. I'm shocked.
I think it makes it more exciting.
Exactly.
Yeah. Like
No, I agree. I'm just saying I'm shocked that it's not a best of.
I think they want to get this over with. I don't think they want this baseball class to be long. I think it's going to go for 2 weeks. That's long enough. These players are all got to get ready for their regular season. So they've got to get back to their teams. They got to keep going. I like it. 2 weeks, that's enough. Not like college football.
And we've talked about this. We talk about there's nothing like a game 7, right? There's nothing. But that's because it's the last game. Yep. Well, that makes every game in this thing a game 7. And this is where football is the dominant sport because it's one Super Bowl. Yep. Not the best out of 3 Super Bowls. Yep. It's the one Super Bowl. I think this is where you will see a lot of people watch this game tonight because it is just one game. Yep. If it was 3, you can't count on these same people watching all 3 games.
Yep. I agree.
I know I wouldn't. When it comes down to one game, I'm down for it.
Yep.
All right, well, that wraps up episode 201 as we talked a lot of sports, NFL, college basketball, and World Baseball Classic. We will be back on Friday where we'll be recording during the games going on. So if you see me kind of dozing off over here watching the games, it might be because we're trying to see who's getting the biggest upsets coming out of that first day. If you like what we do, follow us on Instagram, TikTok, YouTube, and all those. People, I don't care what anyone wants to do. You sit down and get yourself a bag of popcorn or whatever and watch these college basketball games. It's the biggest time where men get vasectomies. Go get yourself a vasectomy. Go get that done. Sit down and watch basketball. We will talk to you on Friday.